All right, let's dive right into an explainer of a truly fascinating, completely unconventional manifesto on commerce, grassroots hustle, and the raw power of the mind. We're looking at a document titled Book-Abwor Land Section 87, written by an entrepreneur named Okeme Walter. Now, this isn't your standard polished Wall Street business guide. Not at all. Instead, it's a deeply personal, intensely philosophical, and highly structured account of one man's pursuit of wealth and commercial enlightenment straight from the heart of Uganda. It beautifully blends deeply rooted local geography with massive global ambitions. Right from the opening pages, Walter boldly states that this work is taken from the mind of Malcolm X and Tupac Amaru Shakur. Now, without taking any political or cultural sides here, we can see that by aligning his commercial philosophy with these historical figures, Walter is hinting at the high-stakes, almost spiritual approach to business that we're about to unpack. For him, commerce isn't just about making a quick buck. It's a revolutionary act of self-determination and survival. The title itself brilliantly illustrates Walter's highly idiosyncratic style. He uses leet speak, replacing letters with numbers like a 4 for an A or an 8 for a B, right alongside dense copyright formatting. It creates this unique, almost coded record. Walter explicitly notes that this text is meant to bridge the leap to commercial civilization. It really gives us a raw, authentic look at an entrepreneur trying to decode the very mechanics of money and success entirely on his own terms. Because this text bounces so rapidly between abstract philosophy and hard business metrics, we're going to decode his worldview in 5 quick steps. Decoding the commercial intellect, the commercial mindset, the network marketing grind, surviving stay-off times, and finally, cultivating the personal brand. Okay, Section 1. Decoding the commercial intellect. Let's start with the very foundation of the text, understanding the geography, the origin of this ambition, and what the title of the document actually means. Sourced directly from a Leb Lingo to English dictionary, the author defines Abwor as a lion. By doing this, Walter is laying a foundation of aggressive, predatory ambition for his entire entrepreneurial journey. He's not just casually starting a business, he's adopting the persona of an apex predator in the commercial jungle. This sets the tone for everything that follows, because to him, commerce requires strength, strategy, and an absolutely unyielding drive. Walter charts a very specific physical journey through Lira City to find his commercial calling. He describes a moment of deep meditation at the Lungo Cultural Center. From there, he maps out the wealth surrounding him: the university, the stadium of Olympian John Akibua, a 5-star hospital, and finally, the home of former Ugandan President Milton Obote. Recognizing that an entrepreneur has to operate where the market is highest, he makes a bold, incredibly calculated move. He walks right up to the former president's house, knocks on the door, and actually secures a meeting with the former president's son, Jimmy Akena Obote. He recounts that during this meeting, he tells Jimmy Akena Obote that he's been studying literature and English. In response, Obote bluntly tells him the government has no interest in arts. Talk about a pivotal, transformative moment. Rather than getting discouraged, Walter uses this stark reality check to harden his resolve. He decides right then and there to scrap the arts and focus exclusively on commercial studies and the pursuit of unshakable wealth. Which brings us to Section 2, the commercial mindset. The crucial point here is how he translates that newly hardened ambition into what he calls the commercial mind. How does an entrepreneur actually rewire their brain for success? He defines the commercial mind as an almost spiritual, free commercial zone. According to Walter, when an entrepreneur deeply aligns their subconscious with the mechanics of wealth, they magnetically attract profitable transactions and discover new business laws. It's not just about actively selling anymore. It's about reaching a state where your very presence and your proximity to like-minded peers automatically generates commercial opportunities. It's an environment where your mind naturally sifts through past dealings to intuitively select the most profitable path forward. Pretty deep, right? Now for Section 3, the network marketing grind. Let's see how this abstract theory translates into the grueling daily reality of his chosen vehicle, network marketing. Because as Walter learns, having a commercial mind still requires putting in some seriously hard, daily, physical work. He details an exhaustive, almost exhausting taxonomy of every single contact a marketer makes, from those who are undecided all the way to those who just flat out decline. He breaks down these potentials into microscopic categories to prove that real commerce requires constant action to capture totally unpredictable opportunities. You can't just sit back and wait for the commercial mind to do all the heavy lifting. You have to physically engage with the market every single day. And the sheer volume of rejection and miscommunication required in this grassroots hustle is massive. People deposit and never complete. People accept your invite but just don't show up. It is a daily battle. Walter notes that any relaxation on a given day means predictably losing the next day's commercial opportunities. It requires energy to excess and time to unlimited extensions. Section 4. Surviving Stay-Off Times. So, what happens when that relentless grind suddenly hits a wall? This brings us to his highly original philosophy on surviving the periods when sales are scarce and the money just isn't flowing. Walter argues that a failed commercial deal is not actually lost. Instead, he views it as a metaphorical diamond store of lessons and skills saved up for destitute eras. While a gold reserve might represent actual money for times when commerce is booming, this diamond store represents mental fortitude and business acumen. This philosophy is exactly what keeps the entrepreneur composed and focused when the money dries up, turning periods of failure into absolutely vital times for self-education and personal development. Finally, Section 5. Cultivating the personal brand. Let's explore how all of this relentless effort culminates in becoming his own brand, a concept he refers to as being commercial on 6. In a highly creative pivot, he actualizes his personal brand through self-published hip-hop music. Operating under the moniker N41Z40 Walter doesn't just see this as making art. He views his 6-track audio collection as literal exchangeables. These tracks function as an automated wealth system. By putting his brand out into the world, he creates a system where his value is continuously circulating, acting as a recurring currency even when he isn't actively awake and making a sale. And he meticulously logs the growth of these digital assets, charting exact counts for plays and downloads from June to August 2024. This proves that even someone with a highly philosophical, almost spiritual commercial mind ultimately relies on cold, hard data to validate their success. Every download, every single play is a literal validation of his commercial intellect playing out in the real world. This quote beautifully summarizes his entire belief system. True wealth isn't just about moving physical products or grinding through a massive contact list. It's fundamentally about transforming your own identity, your intellect, and your creations into a recurring currency. When your brand generates capital simply by existing in the world, you've mastered the ultimate commercial transaction. All of this leaves us with a really powerful reflection on our own hustle. After decoding Walter's incredible journey from meditating in Lira City to mapping the subconscious mind of an entrepreneur, we have to ask ourselves, how are we utilizing our own environment? Are we letting rejections stop us, or are we building a diamond reserve of skills out of our failures? How are you leveraging your own personal brand to navigate the complex world of modern commerce? Definitely something to think about as you go out and build your own commercial empire.